Let's say you want to clone this GitHub project and work on it locally. Can you trust it? How can you clone it locally, look around at the source code, but still protect your machine from malicious code? Let's look at how IntelliJ can protect you. First, let's click the Code button and copy the URL of the repository. We'll be using IntelliJ Community Edition, so let's open that up. And we'll click the third button across the top, Get from VCS or Version Control System. It uses Get by default, but supports other VCS products. Let's paste in the URL we just copied and click the Clone button. IntelliJ clones the project. By the way, cloning is just a Git term for making a local copy of a remote repository. When you clone a repo, you get all the files, including history, branches, and configuration from the remote repo on your machine. When it's done, we're presented with a dialog box from IntelliJ. It asks if we'd like to open this project and trust it. Trusting the project means that the build scripts, the download of dependencies, and other activities will run automatically. This may result in the execution of intentionally or accidentally malicious code on your machine. Remember, on GitHub, when you clone a project from someone else, you don't know what they might have done to the project. There might be dangerous code lurking there. Let's select the first option, Don't Open. If we do, IntelliJ doesn't open the code, and it puts us back on the welcome dialog. Notice the code we cloned is still there. IntelliJ doesn't delete it because we said don't open, so it will sit on our machine until we delete it. Now let's go a step further and preview the code in safe mode. This starts the IDE and loads the project for us. This is a Maven project, so let's open up the pom.xml file. Notice the banner across the top. This is safe mode with limited functionality. This is reminding us we're viewing this project in safe mode. Let's scroll through the POM file, and we can see all the dependencies that this project needs to build and run successfully. Let's open the Maven window and try to build the code. If we run the refresh button, which would ordinarily download all the dependencies, we're stopped by another trust message asking us if we'd like to trust the project or stay in safe mode. We'll stay in safe mode for now. Let's look around within the project at the code, which is the real purpose of viewing a project in this manner. We can look at the source code with no restrictions, so long as we don't try to build anything. And we can look at some of the internal configuration files for this project, like the .gitignore file. Let's go to the external libraries folder and see what dependencies IntelliJ has added to this project. Right now, these are all just Java 17 dependencies, which were already on my machine. Nothing project-specific has been downloaded at this point. If you'd like to find out more about what you can and can't do in safe mode, there's a link, Read More, at the top right corner that takes you to the documentation for IntelliJ. Okay, let's say we've looked around and feel comfortable. Let's click Trust Project in the yellow banner. And then once again in the dialog, IntelliJ immediately starts building the project. This includes resolving dependencies, which might mean finding them on our local cache or downloading them from Maven Central if needed. Now we can see in the external libraries folder all the dependencies needed by this project that were specified directly or as transitive dependencies in the pom.xml file. While the code is building, please consider clicking on the subscribe button to help the channel grow. Thank you. I'll speed up the video a bit. Now let's build our project. Let's open Maven again and run compile. It takes just a moment and our code is built successfully. We can see in the target folder the class files that were built. So at this point, after trusting the project, it's just like any other project we cloned and trusted right away or built ourselves. Let's close this project and go back to the welcome dialog for IntelliJ. And let's select Get from VCS again. And paste in the URL for the repo that we used earlier. We need to specify a new directory location. We'll just call it Java 2 and click Clone. Our project is cloned and we're right back to where we were. We get the trust dialog again. So even though we already trusted this project in a different location on our machine, IntelliJ doesn't know that. It asks us to confirm once again. We could fix that by clicking the box next to Trust Projects In, but that would mean any project we put into the C projects directory would automatically be trusted. This may or may not always be a good idea. Ask your teammates if there's a policy at your company about cloning or a best practices guide. Okay, that's all for now. If you found this useful, please share this video with others. Thanks for watching, and remember to always begin secure.